Yep, just a little muted.
Sorry, there it goes. Sorry, mine had to
There
go
we
through an update. That's why I was a little delayed.
Oh, it's a Zoom update. I'm surprised. I guess I've been in earlier today, so maybe it already took care of it. We're just giving a couple minutes for some more people to come on. Let's go ahead though and get started and just do some intros around the virtual room so that I don't keep you all for too very long today. I'll give Chief Stewart a minute to get up and unmute, and let's start with Ashley Anderson. Thank you very much.
Hey, good afternoon, all. I'm Ashley Anderson with the Eastland Police Department. I'm our Public Information and Community Engagement Officer.
Thank you very much. Since we're doing Ashley's, we also have Ashley Wright.
Cool. Okay. Hi, I'm Ashley Wright. I am the Sergeant over Community Outreach and School Resource Officers with the Greer Police Department.
Greer. Oh, yes, that's right. Chief Hamby did tell me that you would be here.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Deborah Scott, let's hear who you are.
I'm Deborah Scott with Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
And what's your interest today in the National Night Out topic?
We're going to be one of the vendors on that night.
For the West End?
At Riverfront Park.
All right. Joel Hamilton, I see you're next in my queue.
Yeah, I'm Joel Hamilton. I was just curious about more information on the National Night Out.
All righty. And Ms. Evelyn Blakely.
Let me unmute myself. Hi, I am president of a neighborhood association, and we will be taking part in National Night Out. So I want us to be as safe as possible.
Thank you very much. Clay Miller, will you please let us know who you are?
Hi, I'm Clay. I'm a member of the Greater Sullivan Neighborhood Association. I've been working with Ian Thomas from the West End and Becky Worth, Mahoney Syrian to plan National Night Out event at Floor Field.
Excellent. We're excited about that new one. And I'm sure Sergeant Anderson can share some of her experience from doing a sort of an event, baseball related event last year. Who is next? Oh, good. Ian Thomas is here also with the same event.
Hi, everybody. Ian Thomas with Cushman and Wakefield, along with the West End Neighborhood Association. Thanks for having us today.
Thank you. Okay, Chief Stewart, sorry, I gave you a minute and that was more like 5.
Thank you. We're just here to see what the other agencies are doing, and I got some other staff members here. We go around and introduce themselves.
Sergeant Brock, Anderson City Traffic Division.
Sergeant Kelly, the accreditation manager for the Anderson City Police Department.
Lieutenant Kelly with Anderson City Police Department Traffic Division.
Was there one more?
You were Lieutenant Internal Affairs.
All right, thank you. We had someone else pop in. Art Littlejohn. We're just doing a little intros around the virtual room. If you're ready.
I'm driving, so I was gonna keep my mic muted, but I am here. Art Littlejohn, Spartanburg Police Department, Major and Open Field Services Bureau.
Awesome, thank you. And Corporal, is this correct, James Madden?
Sergeant now. I got a promotion.
Oh, congratulations. That's great. And do you go by Jay? I think when I was hunting you down, they said Jay, but I wasn't quite sure.
Shouldn't be. It should be James.
All righty. Maybe he just said it really fast. We're just doing some intros. If you'd like to just say who you are for now, and then we'll get back to a little more description in a minute.
Okay, James Madden, I'm with the City of Malden Police Department. I'm the sergeant over the community division.
Thank you. We have someone on the phone. If you are able to unmute and it's safe to do so, please feel free to introduce yourself. Or not, that's fine. And I'm not sure we have our executive director, Dean Hebel, on the call, but he's also doing some other work. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to say hello. I think I hear him in the other room. He's multitasking. All right, let us get started. Thank you very much for attending, and we'll just be as short and sweet as possible. I'm Justine Allen. I'm Executive Assistant Director with 10 at the Top. And part of my role for the last 3 years since I started with 10 at the Top has been to help out with this initiative that we started called Creating a Safer Upstate in March of 2020. After the George Floyd incident, our wonderful board chair at that time, Mayor Terrence Roberts from Anderson, he and Dean got together and we're talking about what we could do, what kind of project initiative we could start to bring together the people of the Upstate. And I think they had a super terrific idea, which was to create this initiative called Creating a Safer Upstate. And I have just a couple little slides I'll run through really quickly. Can everybody see them? Give me a thumbs up. All right, I think that's a yes. All righty. So as I mentioned, George Floyd, Terrence and Dean get together. They talked about what could we do? How would it look for us to work on something that's going to bring law enforcement and the community together? And the purpose that was evolved from our discovery committee was to bring law enforcement stakeholders together to work collaboratively with community leaders to foster a culture that respects and values the lives of officers and all residents. The discovery committee got together, I want to say we had 4 different meetings, really interactive, all on the Zoom because it was COVID time, and came up with some goals that they thought would be important. So this is police officers, community leaders, business leaders from all over the Upstate, and engaging law enforcement and community leaders again to build those healthy relationships, providing regular opportunities to get together and see what more we could do and kind of move the needle in certain areas, and then enhancing public trust by doing some documentation and sharing data as we moved along. So here are a couple of the things that we've done in case some of you are not aware of this Creating a Safer Upstate initiative overall. We have held quarterly workshops, use of force, technology, and law enforcement. These are all just really great kind of online workshops. And Chief Hamby and Chief Stewart have been very involved in working on developing the content for these. So the idea is we would do 3 a year that are certain topics educationally, and then also at the end of the year do a community leader-led event. So community leaders like Ms. Evelyn Blakely would come on and say, hey, I want to hear about this. So let's talk about it. And it's a really good forum to get some honest, transparent, just information. And we found that people who attend these are really impressed with that the work is being done. So it's been helpful, I think, for law enforcement to share that information and also for community to find out what's going on. So kind of like some of you already do, probably all of you do, a forum in your own communities. And this would be kind of a upstate-wide forum, but online. And we record them so you can share them out with other people so that community groups can share and learn about what's going on. And then we're trying to really get Fist Bump Fridays pumped up every quarter. Thanks to all of you that read my emails and reply. And then we did a couple of community leader forums. These are basically in-person events that are like the Beyond the Shield workshops, but in person with Tri-County Tech. They wanted to do something, and we'd go to their campuses, Anderson, Oconee, and Pickens, and do a similar thing to the Zoom, where law enforcement and community leaders are just sitting at a table talking about certain topics, like those use of force, how analytics are used, victim advocacy, and then sharing out with the whole group. We hope to try to get those restarted in the rest of the counties as we can coming up in the future. And then why we're here today is National Night Out. So last year was the first year that we really tried to do an info session, and the gentleman who runs the organization came and talked to the group. This year, we've kind of felt like people kind of know what it is, and we don't really need to have him come. We can share amongst ourselves. So, sorry, I'm just checking my participants to make sure there's nobody else I need to let in. So we have August 1st, the first Tuesday in August each year, and then there is an alternative date, October 3rd. The National Night Out rep really was intent on having people go do them on these dates, but of course everyone kind of picks weekends and does what they will. So I just wanted to share, if you have not already and you would like more information, it's you can go to nno.org or just type in National Night Out, and there's all kinds of information online. It does behoove you as a community to sign up to register. It's free to register. You can also join, kind of have a membership that's only $35 a year. And it seems to me like the benefit of that is you can get a discount on some, if you wanted to buy some stuff from some swag from them to give out, but also you could get an award. You could get awards like I think the city of Malden did. So it's something nice to do for your department or your community, I think. And with all that being said, I see that Tanya Joy is on. Hey, Tanya, are you still here? There she is.
Hola, I'm here.
Hello. How you doing?
Great.
We did some intros, and I was just doing a little background on our Creating a Safer Upstate initiative as a whole, and then what National Night Out is, in case people don't know. I think everybody kind of knows. So yeah. What I thought we would do now is, sorry, will you introduce yourself before we move on?
Tanya Joy, Greenville County Sheriff's Office, and I work in community engagement. And I also have with me on the call Shakita Davis, and she is our crime watch director.
I think you both are on now.
Now she's got on.
Shakita is great too. All right. Well, let's give you a minute since you're just getting on the call, and we will, let's see, let's start with James Madden, since he still has he's got his video on and he's all hydrated. So I thought what we might do is we have some designated speakers, but really this is very casual. So feel free to put something in the chat or speak if you have a question. I thought with our planned kind of topic leader people, you could just talk about what you did, what you've done in the past, how you planned it, put it together, market it, fundraise for it. That's been a big question this week. And how you feel the community benefits from that. So yeah, let's go ahead with, thank you, James Madden.
Okay. So this is going to be my third year doing it. 2 years ago was my first one. They kind of threw me hey, you haven't switched over from patrol to community. And said, you got about a month and a half to plan this whole event. So very quick learning curve with no training. Luckily, I have some experience with business. So first thing I did then was start looking for sponsors, start figuring out basic general layout, down to measuring. Like I know we had the coroner's office, they came out with their substance education trailer, making sure we had space for that, reaching out to the blood connection, make sure we had the bus, had the spot for that, getting all that scheduled. Sponsorship, our community here is very giving. So I actually turn down sponsors every year. So I don't want to crowd because I also do all of our flyer and everything. I designed all of that. We're not changing our color scheme on that. I want to try to create a brand on it where people see that scheme and that thing and know it is our event. This year we did get permission. I don't know what he said prior about the date change, but I had to write the organization to get permission to do it in October. So we'll be doing ours in October so we don't conflict. And we're kind of hoping with the cooler weather and without all the other cities doing it, we'll have a bigger turnout. But we're estimating our turnout's usually probably 900 to 1,100 people. So the biggest thing I've had a lot of success with my sponsors is going in person. They want to put a name to the face and then make sure, obviously, we got our community people, our community teams that we're out there and we're, check in on them once a quarter, once a month. Just show your face pop in, not just for money. Say, hey, how y'all doing? And every year I go in and they cut me a check, no problem. So the biggest thing I do when I do that is I sell them on what they get out of it. So they have the flyer, and then we obviously push that on Facebook. We hang it in our community centers. We get our sponsor to hang it like YMCA. We'll get it hang up in these big areas. We'll have a lot of foot traffic. And then what we do is we hang a banner, it's like a 12 by 10 banner in front of our cultural center about a month prior to the event, advertising with all the sponsors on it. And then once we do the event, we'll also hang that banner up with all the sponsors on it. Generally, we always get a DJ. I don't know who snagged up Joe Lestringer with the Edge, but he always donates his time. I think Travelers Rest got him this year. But he donates his time. I make sure, and he's really good about it anyway, that he plugs the sponsor. So when the sponsors do come, they see that the name's getting out. And then something else that I'll do is like for inflatable houses and bigger events, I'll actually just get the quotes and bring them to sponsors directly and see if they want to either do a monetary or just pay for it directly. And then I tell them if they want to get if they have any yard signs, they can put it by the entrance of each to give them more branding and more name. Because that's ultimately what they're doing it for. Yeah, they want to help us, they want to help the community, but it's about them getting their name out. So for me, selling it on that aspect, not many have turned me down. That's kind of been my key to getting funding. Obviously, there's a lot of places that do law enforcement discounts for some things. Like if you guys do inflatables, I have some contacts for that. Y'all can just reach out to me. I'll send you that. I don't know it off the top of my head. They cut us a deal last year. I think we got 2 inflatable 15-foot slides and bounce houses for like $400 delivered and set up, and that's really cheap. I don't know if you guys know that. Pepsi usually donates everything for free for sodas. If you get up with Greenville Water early enough, you can get free hand wash stations and a water tank or a water thing. You got to request that. I already snagged it for October. So they have a new electric one this year that will be interesting. So those are all free things that I brought. I got in good with Publix and the manager at Publix. So they generally give us half off deals on whatever hot dogs I want, because we just do hot dogs. We don't do hamburgers or anything else. We don't bring in food trucks. We don't kind of have the funds to pay for all of that, bringing in that. And we always have to do it here at our culture center. So we're kind of limited on space. Swamp rabbits usually come out. I get the Triumph to come out. So basically I search for things for free. I don't charge anybody for tables or setup. Like if I bring in outside businesses, I just make sure that they know not to try to sell anything. We try to offer this all for free. I got contact now with Bimbo Breads that's donating all of our hot dog buns, and they come set up and give out free chips as well. So that's kind of nice. And then what else I do is I'm starting to work on it now for October, but about a month out of the event, I'll create an event map with all the vendors' locations. Like if I'm bringing in 25 businesses, I'll have them all set up and say, look, here's your spot. Bring your tables, chairs, tent, whatever you want. Here it is. Make it easy. You don't got to find me. Just come in at 4 o'clock, set up. We'll run it from 5 to 9. And then that way, that saves me a lot of day of logistic issues. Kind of hard.
Because you have that's a really big area. I went last year and got some pictures and checked it all out. And that's a very large space at the Malden Cultural Center. Is that what it's technically called there?
And see, we wanted to do it at our Sunset Park, which is like massive compared to that. But there's an issue with the plumbing over there, and they didn't want a big crowd. City denied it. So we do a lot, but basically, I also got sharpshooters coming in. Hopefully, with last year we had them. I don't know if you went over and saw their tent.
Yep.
Where they advertised for their national team and had a little shooting game set up, which was good. Kind of do some firearm safety stuff. And at least in the design, you talk about design and publish, our ads very busy. If you see our flyer, but I do feel like when we're competing with the other cities like Travelers Rest and Greer and everybody, people are going to look at the ad and say, well, what do you guys have? And what do you guys have? And they're like, okay, well, you got more, so let's go here. So I always make it, I know it's a little busy. I've had complaints about it before, but a lot of people say, well, I came because I saw you had this on the ad. So, hopefully in October it won't be as bad because I don't know who all is moving it, but we'll find out. And that's just, getting everything done early. Face painting is always a big hit. If you guys get some face painters, luckily we have one of our sponsors. I buy them all the supplies and then they come in and paint. Which I don't know if you guys have that availability or if you need one. You go to Etsy and buy and Amazon and buy $50 in stencils and some sponges and you just dab it on and it's easy. Because I think face painters are like for the events like $400 or $500 for an event. So you can save a lot of money like that.
Yep. Does some of your staff is out there, we're out there kind of cooking and manning some booths and stuff, right?
Yeah. So prior to me and the first year I did it, we used to have cops on everything, all the bounce houses, all the food, all of that. I came and said, we got to change that a little bit. We're kind of getting away from the whole purpose, right? The purpose is for us to be out and engaging the community and building our trust and actually being involved, not, hey, get your kid out the bounce house. So last year was our first year trying to get
policing the bounce house.
Yeah. So last year was our first year trying to get some volunteers. Obviously, we're going to grow it this year. And there is a little bit of a bonus to having school in session because like our Interact Club, we're going to get them involved with the Rotary Club and all that. And I know they're always looking for events and things. So those will be some easy volunteers. And jumping back to food, the other reason we do straight hot dogs is because it's kind of hard to mess up a hot dog. And if you undercook a hot dog, nothing happens. You undercook a hamburger. For us, for me at least, it's a liability thing. So that, the ease, the mess, the everything else. Publix, I don't know if you guys are getting any donation from Publix. That's an online application. They're always good for at least a $250, $350 gift card. Generally, it's one I've seen online, one I've gotten in the past. So that's always a good, easy one to get. I think what else I do. It's a lot.
It is. I mean, it's a huge event in a really big space. I think you've covered everything. Does anyone have any questions? Just for Sergeant Madden, and then we can always get back to the questions at the end too. No, I don't see any unmutes. All righty. Thank you. I'm sure more things will come up and I'll get a hold of, or would you, I wonder if you could share that flyer here and your contact info if people have questions.
Yeah, I'll put it in the little message thing. Somebody did ask a question in that.
Awesome.
So I will pull up my contact and send it to you. Rewa is just an online application, but I'll get you that real quick too.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Let's do Sergeant Anderson next, if you're ready. And you can talk about what you did last year and what you're planning for this year.
Yeah, so last year we partnered with the Senior League World Series at our big sports complex. And it went really well. We ended up having several hundred people join us. However, we think that it got a little bit kind of muddled in the crossover between both events. So we're actually hosting ours in October this year as well. It was incredibly hot last year, and I think that may have been part of the reason why we didn't get as many of our community members out for that. But we still plan on having it in the same place because that's a great spot for parking, and there's a ton of space for us and our vendors. We had tons of community members reach out to us and just ask if they could set up booths, mostly for exposure, but everybody did everything for free. Our fire department cooked hot dogs for us and gave those out. So overall, it was a really great event. It was our first one, so it was a learning experience for me. But since then, we've planned some larger events. We do a golf tournament in April, so some of our sponsors to space it out a little more between April and August. That's another reason we decided to push it back to October. It's because they get a little overwhelmed here in the city with several different people asking them for things. But overall, it was a great experience and we enjoyed it, and our community had a lot of positive feedback for us. So,
what did you do? You said people were asking if they could have a booth. Did you provide tables for them, or did they just bring their own setups?
Most of them brought their own table and tent. That was actually one request that we had, just because most of them already have table covers, tables. A lot of these vendors already traveled to several other events, so they were prepared for that, and there were no issues there.
So they're selling things and or like a community
Nobody sold
organization?
anything. They gave everything out for free. We had our Humane Society here, so they gave things out. Our local library, they have a van, a reading van, so they came out and gave out different materials and information and things like that. We had several bounce houses as well. Our DNR, some of those officers came out and did demos and things like that. So it was really great, but we just did everything for free and everybody was on board with that.
Cool. So you're going to the October date this year, same location, but not connected with any other events.
Yes, we're just going to do our own separate event this year.
Got it. Any questions for Ashley? All right, keep thinking. And we will move on to Tanya Joy. I'm sure things might be different this year, but I thought it would be great to get the Greenville perspective, because if I'm correct, you typically focus more on the neighbor, on a smaller events in the neighbor within each community, right?
That's correct. So, sir. We have gone to many of the different communities just so that we can spread ourselves within each of the communities and being able to interact and engage when they can't all be grouped together. So because the county is so large and different places have different events that they're holding, just coming out there and being a part of the event that they are already having and have held this yearly, us coming in attendance just to engage with them and bouncing from one to another to another. This time we're going to have a larger one at Kingstown Community Center. No, I'm sorry, Freetown Community Center for the evening portion, the 6 to 8 o'clock, where we're going to be doing a lot of the same things that Malden has already named, and just putting it out there so that they can also just engage with us there. That's one of the community centers that we haven't done one lately throughout the years, I guess you would say.
Would you remind me, isn't there a term for the porch light? The porch light. It's like an issue. It's part of National Night Out, and you encourage everyone to have the porch lights on, and people sit on their porch, and it's kind of like lighting up the neighborhood.
Well, I guess you would be in unity of that. You are not. It's not so much as we stand behind everything in law enforcement. This is you're standing behind as a community against crime. And by you sitting outside during that time for National Night Out, you represent and are in union with those in your community who want to take a stance behind any crime happening in that community. So if there are those that do walks, like some of the areas that we attend, and they're going to do a parade, even if it's a mini parade, but they have their strollers out and they're going to do it from 6:30 to 6:45. And this is the time that they're going around. Some of them have the balloons, some of them are walking, just as they're able to speak to their neighbors and wave to their neighbors that are around. They're able to see them out there, and that they all stand in unity against crime.
Well said. Thank you. I knew that you would say that much better than I could ever. All right. Thanks. I see we also have Spartanburg represented here today, and I don't want to make anybody say anything, but if there's anyone else who would like to share what they already do for National Night Out, I would love to hear it on behalf of 10 at the Top, and we would love to help you promote that. So whether it's social media, photos, if you want to email me or text me even, I'll put my cell phone number. If you have an event and you just have some pictures, you could shoot them over to me and say, hey, this is City of Spartanburg, we're doing this. Or send me the Facebook or the Instagram link. We would love to help the whole Upstate promote this effort in a regional way. There we go. Hello there.
Sure, absolutely. Art Littlejohn. I spoke earlier. I was just driving, so I made it back to my office. So yeah, I over Field Services Bureau in Spartanburg, and we have had an opportunity to do it several different ways. And we do it in October as well. But over the last 5-6 years, we do more like Greenville instead of having one event. We have about 16 to 18 neighborhoods that are involved. And so it's an all hands on deck for us. So any officer that's off, they're working. So we all work. We assign 2 officers per neighborhood. And then there's a group of command staff along with city council members, mayor, everyone. So what we do is go from neighborhood to neighborhood. So we try to visit each one of those neighborhoods at some point. So there's about, like I said, 16 to 18, sometimes as many as 20, and they do whatever they want to do. And so our theme is kind of the same as opposed to them having one big thing. We want to go and engage people in the neighborhoods that they want. The city also provides, I think, somewhat of a budget to the neighborhood watch leaders. And so they can use that money to do whatever it is that they want. And so it's not a huge amount of money, but the city does give money where they can decide to do whatever, whether it's to go towards the food or to rent. Someone said something about a bouncy house or whatever they decide to do, they can use that money for that. It's during the same times. The only thing that's a little different is some of the retirement or assisted living. They'll have theirs a little bit earlier inside, and we'll go to those. And so we usually hit those about 2:00. And then that gives us enough time to go to the other ones that are outside. And there again, like I said, it's in October opposed to August like we did in the past. So
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's similar to Greer a little bit, except I think Greer, you pick some neighborhoods, right? And the officers go and set up a little barbecue or
Yes,
bouncy
so
house.
we're doing it a little more uniform this year, but we do have 7 locations that we will be out at. We will be providing a lot of the same things at each one of those locations. And we've got covering our span of our entire city, hitting some of our larger neighborhoods and neighborhoods that we've participated with in the past.
It was neat. I did a quick little drive through a couple of them last year, and it's nice because you're in the neighborhood and you get that feel. It's the little neighborhood park, and I'm sure people know each other and you really have a chance to interact with each other. Great, thank you. Does anybody else want to share what they're doing? And if that plus or questions from the Greenville group that is putting on their first big event this year? For our more experienced folks.
Justine, if I may, this is Evelyn. And
Yes.
one of the things that we did last year, we combined 3 neighborhoods that were on a particular part of the city. And that allowed the newer neighborhood association that was basically just formed to also be able to participate in a big way with the other communities. And I think we're going to be doing that again this year, of combining 3 neighborhoods. We held the event at a local community center, and there were things outside. We did have a lot of the police officers came by. Piggly Wiggly had someone to dress up as the pig, and they were out there, and they supplied some refreshments for us as well. And like Officer Littlejohn had said, the city, we have a neighborhood association board, and we were advanced $100 per neighborhood for food. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Are there anything anyone would like to submit for things they tried that they just didn't think were that great, or the most important thing to do when you're planning this?
I know that event map that I've always done, except for the bringing in all the outside resources, has saved a lot of confusion. It makes it so much easier than have to sit there and try to direct everybody and people setting up in the wrong area. It's like, look, it's a Google Map picture. It's not hard.
Oh, as an event planner person, I can totally appreciate that. Whatever you can do before the day happens, and also communicate all the information so that when people arrive, the goal is there's very few questions, very little that has to get done. And then you have time for all the things that pop up to take care of those.
And you were talking about register, and yeah, that I know my chief and the city loves seeing them little plaques that we get. So the $35 just for the plaque, but it is a good, if you haven't done it before, you got to create a pretty good binder on everything. And you were talking about pictures, and luckily I got family that's in photography, so they come and take our pictures for free, but having good pictures is paramount for that. And obviously for, like you said, for your advertising and afterwards. So I don't know if you guys can have anybody available to do that, but I would definitely recommend that because it pays dividends, looks good. Council loves it.
I
think
meant
that's
to.
special.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up again. I said that so I would try to remember. So it sounds like when I was looking today, I knew that you received the award, the City of Malden. Do you have to do something in particular, or do you just become a member? You sign up to be a member?
So you become a member, and then you have to submit, basically it's pretty much a binder every year. And I put everything in there from the email requests, the confirmation of resources, to the city application I have to fill out for our center. So all the logistics end of it, my little event map with all my vendors. So all the logistic end that I did, and then all the pictures, and then a brief summary at the end on how the event flowed and went, and our turnout, and just a general synopsis of everything. And then you send that to them.
You're actually mailing it in. Ah, interesting. That's cool though. I mean, once you've done the work, it's not that hard to when you go on their website, it's very easy to register your event. And then they give you some good ideas. They send you a little folder. And right, if you do become a member, which is only $35, you can get some discounts if you wanted to buy hats or scarves or dog scarves, or there's all kinds of stuff in there. And then you can submit yourself to get an award that you can then present on behalf of your city. So it's pretty cool.
And I think it's like the top 20% of the applicants that get awarded.
Okay.
Because when I talked to them the first year I did it, I asked them, I'm like, look, there's like 20 people. We're like number 18 of 20. Does that mean like we really sucked? Or how does that play out? And like, no, there was like 98 applicants in that category, and you were within the top 20 basically. Not everybody does get awarded. So, but as I said, I think a big key to that is we have, my family's been doing photography since 1988. So we had a good photographer and good pictures and people having fun. And so I think that is probably what helped a lot. Because I know last year we had vendors not show up, even though they confirmed 2 days before they were coming, and we had holes in the event. I was not very enthused about any of that. Really wasn't happy with it myself personally as being a planner. I think we had like 4 vendors back out, just didn't show up, no call, no show. But with the pictures, couldn't really see it because it was thought about. And it wasn't just a general overview. And so that's something
I wouldn't have never known based on the amount of people coming in, and they were having fun, and there was a lot of stuff to do. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. Are there any questions for anyone, or any final thoughts?
Hey, Justine, this is Ian Thomas. I'm with the West End Neighborhood Association. So we are trying to put on our first ever National Night Out. Well, I should say not our first ever, but post-COVID, first National Night Out. And we're trying to do it in combination with a couple of their special emphasis neighborhoods. And so naturally, we are a volunteer group of neighbors. And so we don't have a committee. We're certainly working towards that direction. But I would say in the short term, we're trying to mobilize an event to take place at the Drive Baseball Stadium to coincide with National Night Out, since there aren't any baseball games in October. And so I think our biggest issue is just really getting sponsors lined up to help offset the neighborhood cost of paying for hot dogs, drinks, and tickets to the baseball game. And I think that's kind of where we're really sitting at, is what are the best resources available to us as residents to go out and get some interest locally and regionally that'd be willing to participate or partner with our group that's trying to do this event.
I'm not sure if you were here for the beginning when Sergeant Madden was talking about food and beverage and.
Yep, I heard all that.
All right, good.
Thank you for that.
So are you guys doing it in conjunction with a game? Like you're doing or is it just I'm confused on how you're doing that.
Yeah, so our objective is to use the District 356 as a block party before the game. And then once the game starts, we'll all head in and watch the Drive game that evening. And we'll try to be sitting in the same section together. We're working on a hot dog, Pepsi package with the Drive as we speak. But allocating X amount of tickets, that's one of our big steps. And then we've got music, amenities, and blow ups, etc., going on for the block party.
Well, I obviously can't speak for the other agencies, but I don't know what you're planning for the block party, but reach out to me and maybe it's something Malden can help you with, and then maybe participate. We got a community Humvee and we got some stuff that we own that maybe I can come out and help you. Like we own cotton candy machines and popcorn and all that. So maybe we can kind of partner with it and I could try to help you out with some of those logistics. I don't have all the answers, but I'll do what I can to try to help you. And I know for the businesses and drumming up your sponsorship, the biggest thing is sell them on how it's going to help get their name out, because that's pretty much the whole purpose for them is, well, how's it going to affect the business and how's it going to help us? So if you don't sell it to them, it's like, oh yeah, it's just for us. I don't talk about how it helps the police department at all. When I go talk to these businesses, I'm like, look, the goal is to help relationships, yes, and I want you to help build your relationship with our citizens as well. And if you sponsor, you'll get XYZ, you'll be on the ad, whatever, on the banner, but don't try to sell it as, well, we need it as this. Try to sell it to the business as, this is what you'll get out of it, because really that's what they're going to look at.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. All right, I will send what's in the chat to everyone who's attending. Actually, I'll probably send it to everyone who registered, because we had several people who weren't able to make it. So I'll send what's in the chat and then contact information for our speakers today in case you have questions or would like some more information. And there's something else. Make sure you let me know what you're doing. Thanks for keeping me in the loop on things. I really appreciate that. And if you have a flyer, sometimes it's hard for me to find. I try to follow on Facebook every department that I can, but I don't get on Facebook as often as I probably should for work purposes or for fun purposes. So I don't see things, I miss things. So if you have a flyer or anything, Facebook post, whatever it might be, feel free to email it to me and I will make sure we share that and help you promote what you're doing in your community and in the Upstate. Got yours. Thank you very much. All righty. Any last questions? If not, I will let everybody go.
That flyer was from last year. I was just using that for an example.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Still good though. All right. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your time today. I hope you got a little assistance with your event if you're planning one, or some ideas, some fun ideas for your existing event. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk about this and being part of our Creating a Safer Upstate initiative. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.